Coming up on the Greg and Tim Show podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we? Really? What do you mean? You're an anti-feminist. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
No, I'm just telling you, I don't like that. And I swear to God, my hip popped. Remember, she looked back, she's like, if you stay here, you're going to see things that you might not forget. I know, that was stupid of me, clearly. I don't like gleaned, and I don't like the word napkin. We like to go to the cabin and eat some leatherback steak. I'm Jasmin Laine, and I approve this message. Should we post that? No. You're gaslighting me right now. I'm going to get canceled for some of that, I'm sure. Bring it on, baby.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Yeah, it's so cool because like out by where I grew up, you could literally drink water like from the stream. Like it's that good. And that's the same stream that Jackson Springs is from. Fun fact. So,
The more you know, we can do the little star thing.
Did you turn around and
yes.
You made it.
That is iconic. Wow.
But we could change it to the right one now,
No,
Brandon.
that
Change
is
it to the right one.
Are
Change
you
it to the right
kidding
one.
me?
There we go.
That's a cute
She didn't
picture.
even see it. when
I'm
she-
sorry. I almost like hit my head on the
I know.
TV
It's so
too.
tight in here. We're looking at upgrading, but the budget's just not in
This
it
is
yet.
not too tight at all. You're
No?
fine.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm
That's
just
okay. You just get settled. I haven't
5
got a
minutes
drink.
late. Almost
do you have a
hit a
drink?
guy.
do you have a drink and whiskey?
I should have brought you guys a bottle, actually. I'm not even
Oh, of
kidding
Jackson
you.
Springs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, not even kidding. People say water tastes like water.
Yeah.
And then you have Jackson Springs, and you're like, oh, water does taste different depending where it's from.
Are you sure this isn't sponsored?
It is for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
But I mean it,
I'll
though.
clip this part for you.
Yeah,
and then...
thank you. No, I do mean it, though. I love their water. I've been drinking it for years.
And we're recording, so we are definitely
We have been recording.
sending this out unless we're not
She
recording.
knows that we're recording. She was here last time and asked
Every
when we would
time that
start.
we said Jackson Springs is beeped it out.
Even Zac Efron likes Jackson
Beep,
Springs.
beep,
He talked about it
beep.
inside of his documentary. What is that documentary called that Zac Efron did? Come on, you guys
I didn't
don't
watch
know?
it. I didn't watch
I'm
it.
not really a big Zach.
I like Zac
you,
Efron.
you can open that if you want to.
I like Zac
That way
Efron, but I've never actually.
The anticipation doesn't just kill you right now. And while
out of
Jasmine opens
here.
this, welcome back to the Greg and Tim show. We have Tim
Oh, I
We have
love
Greg.
this.
and Jasmine has
Steve
joined us
Buscemi.
again. Steve Buscemi has joined us finally.
Thank you.
You're very
I
welcome.
love.
You like
Ugh,
Christmas cards?
I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for cards. Like
Yep.
I have boxes of cards that I've
You
kept my
keep
whole
them.
life. Yeah.
Where do you put the cards?
I have a box of special things. I have 3 of them, and one of them is dedicated to cards.
But like, you don't put them all in boxes. Like at Christmas time,
Oh,
where
I
do you
keep them
display
up.
them?
Yeah, no, we have like a little ledge behind our couch, so
Okay.
I'll usually put them on there. But I love them. I don't get enough.
You're not old enough to be sticking them on the wall yet.
No, but
Okay.
you know, I'm
As you get older,
you blink away from
On the
80.
wall?
So
On the
I'll
wall.
start to
you
get
put yours on
lonely.
the wall too. I've
Do
seen
you?
my photos on the
I
wall.
put them on we put them on the tree.
that's cute.
All of them,
Yeah, I think
all
so.
100.
Well, all the
Christmas
A,
cards?
all the A,
the A
Christmas
team
cards.
Christmas
So
cards.
maybe that's why you found yourself on the wall.
Mine was on the wall, yeah. So I didn't make the tree.
Oh,
We have a mirror upstairs when you walk in, and we just cover the wall with Christmas
that's
cards
I
around
like
the mirror.
that.
But the thing is, it stays up until June.
Oh,
So it's like I have to fight Lorraine to take them down because she really wants to see everybody's pictures all the
I
time.
mean, it's nice.
yeah,
And the tape takes the paint off. You
no
so repaint
tape.
the
We use the
entire-
sticky tack.
All right.
Sticky tack.
Yeah,
That
the
brought
blue
me
stuff.
back. I didn't even know they still sold that.
What?
I'm surprised that is still a thing.
Yeah, back in the day, old man.
Huh.
Sticky tack.
Sticky tack, Brandon. Remember, you had a big ball of sticky tack in your room because you put everything up by sticky tack.
Yeah, he's in his 20s now.
Yeah,
Yeah, wait, how long ago was that?
like a year ago.
Oh, I love sticky tack too. I use it all the time.
This show brought to you by Sticky Tack, the blue sticky stuff
The blue stuff.
that doesn't rip off your walls.
Is it called sticky tack?
I believe it's called
Okay.
Sticky Tack.
Still?
Yeah, see, there you go.
Wow.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Have we started?
We have started.
Okay.
Should we intro though?
We'd like to welcome our very special guest for the second
Welcome
time,
back,
Jasmin Laine, or as I like to call her, Jasmin
Laine.
Laine. And of
He
course,
goes with both names. Perfectly incorrect.
Yeah, why not?
and we're going to first of all start with a timer where we are not going to discuss politics for X amount of time.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on. You'll see it on.
You'll see it on the screen somewhere. It'll
And
be
we
in
should
the,
set
maybe
it
in the bottom.
for it's how many minutes? What do you think? 25, 30, 20?
How many minutes?
20?
What's 20 is painful for her already. So
Listen, it's your show, guys.
Yeah.
let's go 20.
I'm just
20
here.
minutes.
Okay, so it's counting down.
I know what time it
starting
is right now.
20, everything that's, we can talk about anything under the sun, just no politics for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we know you can give your depth of understanding.
Yeah,
and all
I
that,
never
so.
shut up. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
So
not about shutting up. It's just about politics.
I will only talk about what you ask.
But you know what's funny? As soon as we post the political stuff, it'll just go right through the
So
roof.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we're going to talk today about the Los Angeles Dodgers and the
Can't
signing of
wait.
Blake Snell. Does
What's
that take
that?
them out of the running for Soto in the in this off season? And where do you think that puts them in repeating as World Series champions next year?
Well, you know, me and Soto go way back. So so you know, I personally think that the blank snail that they are re-signing with my
Blank
boy
snail?
Soto.
Blake Snell.
Blake Snell.
Blake
Pitcher, yeah.
Snell.
Yeah.
I love pictures of margaritas.
He has a mustache.
You know, pictures of Long Island iced teas. Those are always great. And I think they'll also be very complimentary to Soto. And that's why I think they for sure are in the running.
There we go. You heard it here first.
There you go.
Dodgers are repeating as World Series champions.
Jasmin Laine.
As per Jasmin Laine.
Yep.
Place
But-
your bets.
Place your-
Well, actually, that is a pretty good bet. you may not get a lot of money back from it, but so what have you been up to since the last time we saw you here?
Yeah,
Boy,
it's been a minute.
that is a loaded question. How life has
I
changed.
think you were episode 33, and now we're on episode 65. So you're like, you're every
3.
33,
33,
65, and I think you're almost like every 30-something episodes for us now.
I'll take that. I'll take
It's
that.
not a bad average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, life in the last little bit has been absolute insanity. I have fully Carrie Underwooded my life and just Jesus take the wheel with the whole thing at this point. So that's kind of how I've been living. I mean, I no longer am doing the thing that I was doing for 11 years of my life, thought that I was going to be a nobody. I actually very specifically remember talking to a lot of people saying, I'm going to have a mental breakdown in a few months. So keep an eye on me because I'm nothing anymore now that I don't have this. And then somehow Jesus took the wheel and showed me that life is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was not suffering nearly as much as I thought I would be. And I don't know, nowadays it's been pretty crazy. I've really got my life back, I think, in some ways. Like
Okay.
the dedication and meaning and passions in my life are so much more aligned with just exactly where I want to be versus having other little things distracting or taking away and whatever. So life's been absolute chaos, very unstable, but we're winging it and it's going.
Yeah.
So,
You were saying like you felt like you were going to be a nobody,
mhm.
but do you feel like you're more of a somebody now?
Probably. And I think that has less to do with actual notoriety or anything like that and more to do with just being me unapologetically and being able to just dedicate my time to the things that really matter
Yeah.
in a way that I couldn't before. And so I think, you know, when you're working kind of in the limelight and stuff, there's always this pressure and there's so much ego and so much pride and so much competition. And it's just this constant battle to stay relevant, stay on top. And that gets so consuming and it really does become you, especially like 11 years. That is an incredible amount of time to be in that cycle. And I don't know, I just find like being out of that cycle, I was so worried that, oh, well, hey, this is Jasmin Laine. What do you do? And people ask me that all the time. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just living.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I make things and people watch them and that's great.
Yeah.
but I don't really
Creator.
Yeah, like
Influencer? Do you call yourself an influencer?
I hate that word, but
Yeah.
I guess technically that would probably be a definition.
It's kind of funny. Like
could
influencers
use.
don't want to be called influencers, but they want to influence.
It's the same thing.
a little bit.
Why don't you want to be called an influencer?
It's a word that's been so overused and it just seems tacky. I
Like
think.
everybody
It seems
wants to
sticky
be
tacky.
sticky tacky. Okay.
They still have that?
It just seems very tacky to me now. Oh, and two, it's like I think I feel too old to be an influencer, which
Yeah.
I shouldn't because there's like, so many grandmas on TikTok that are influencers and they love it. They live it up.
Now I'm gonna get all these grandma's TikTok videos because she said it out
Yeah.
loud around my phone.
It's listening. But I guess technically that is exactly what I am.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
So our last episode with you, we titled "The Person Behind the Personality."
Mhm.
Now it's the person, right? Because now you're putting yourself out there
Mhm.
as
Like
is me,
fully.
right?
Yeah.
You're not hiding anything anymore. You're just literally
Well, there
putting.
might be a few skeletons in the closet. Okay.
We're gonna get
but-
those out this afternoon, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
But-
it's kind of interesting for you to say that too, because that really is it. I actually recall probably within about a month or so of losing my job, I made a post online and it's like one of the most viral posts I've made. And it was essentially saying like, I'm so excited for you to get to meet me, because
Yeah.
you have this version, but it's not everything. And there's been so
Yeah.
many things to keep with the persona and whatever. And, like we said in the last episode with you guys as well, like it's a layer to me, but it's not all of me. Whereas I feel now like I'm able to live much more in full as me.
Free.
Yeah.
So you put a lot of political things out there, but you also have some more funny videos that you posted,
Mhm.
and one of them
We found it actually.
Great.
We actually we found one of them. We're looking for the other one, but describe a moment where you accidentally posted you singing from a very awkward angle.
No, it was
That's the true person
terrible.
behind the personality right there.
Yeah, that's just totally went out on purpose. So I do this thing. I love to sing. I'll never sing for anybody.
Yeah.
I do karaoke sometimes when I travel
Okay.
because nobody knows me.
Are you saying you don't have a good voice?
I think I probably do have a good voice. My mom is an excellent singer and I find that I sound a lot like her. And there's been a few times where I've just been goofing off and I might sing something and people might say, damn, that actually sounds good. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something there, but that is not something I am willing to fully.
But you practice, you said.
All the time. Yeah, I just sing.
With your
I sing
phone
along to
laying
songs and I always use TikTok to record things. I don't know why. I just do. That's my de facto. Is that the word?
Brandon, can you
Yes.
go to the photos?
So you said
we do
something
have a
out by
video here.
accident, and-
Just wait,
and
don't go to it yet. Go ahead.
Four
Finish.
people watched it.
There was
You quickly
four-
deleted it.
4 people.
But we have contacted one of the people that actually has a copy of it, and we are going to show it now on the show.
Okay, swipe over 2 and then just press play, Brandon.
Oh no. Oh God. What song? I know
Go
that
back and
song.
play it again. Go back. You gotta play it again.
Strange to think the songs we used to sing, the smiles, the flowers, everything is gone.
Oh.
So this is what we picture was the video you deleted.
Yesterday I found out about you, even now just looking
Even now,
at you.
which is like little Nashville. Okay.
Yeah, just a little. Okay, that's enough of that one. Anyway, did you? Nobody copped up to being one of the 4 people that saw that video.
No, that was an extreme moment of panic. I have fat thumbs, Thanks, mom and dad. And it just thumb slipped after recording. Boom,
Yeah.
out there, and I'm like. But the worst part is I've never done that before, and so it posts to your TikTok stories. And I didn't know how to delete a TikTok story. And so I am like, oh my God. But then I had to go and Google how to delete a TikTok story because it wasn't just a 3 little dots option to delete it. It was more convoluted than that.
They don't want you to delete them.
Whew. But yeah, by the time I did, 4 people. Humiliating.
Yeah. That would be awesome if we did have the real video. So Brandon, if you can just swipe. No, just kidding.
We have 3 others. So I don't know.
You just never know. You could have been one of the 4.
I know, right? And it would have
You
been
totally
We were
could have.
a little bit more than that. Yes, we
That's
did.
so funny. Oh my gosh.
So, speaking of videos, and this one you put out there, and everybody got to see it. The Winnipeg Water and Waste turned off the water for one afternoon for you, and you put out there.
No, I didn't know where you were going at first.
And you put out there for everybody to hear.
Oh my god, I will never recover from this. So I guess the city of Winnipeg is doing some work on the water line or something, and they didn't send a notice, which I thought you were supposed to. But anyway, I just went to the bathroom and I did a little, because I'm not Kim Jong-un, I have bodily functions, and I can't flush the toilet. The best part is, though, my boyfriend is going to be home really soon, and I can't flush the toilet. So, that's cool. I guess I'm going to be single soon. Listen, I am me, okay?
Yes, you are the real you now. But what did Steven think of that video?
He had no idea.
Does he watch your videos?
No. Why do you think I'm so comfortable posting it? He is not a social media man.
He doesn't watch any of your videos.
I don't even think he follows me. I don't even think I follow him.
Speaking of following, another topic.
What? Oh.
We learned this week that
Someone
you
screenshots and post a video, not even like resharing our video, but takes a screen recording of our YouTube clip that she found. I didn't tag you in it for a purpose. I wanted to see how long it would take you to find it.
It took a while, I think.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
I think it took like 3 weeks for you to find it.
And then it just randomly popped up, and I'm like, what the? I know those guys. They're talking. What are they saying?
And we did a little job. But
was
then
awesome.
I see her post, and I don't know if I even told Tim this yet, but I noticed there was a little button called subscribe that was not clicked.
I'm sorry. There's no excuse.
No, we're calling out all your faults today.
There's a lot of them, so we're gonna be here for a while. Ay, ay, ay.
We want the real person, and we know. You know, now.
I used to subscribe to you guys too. I wonder when I stopped.
I kind of have an idea of when you stopped. There was probably a day
that you clicked unsubscribe.
But I do that sometimes with my feeds all the time, because I want it to be like as relevant as possible, and like not that you guys are relevant. I'm sorry.
This is going
but like
well.
I'll keep it as news stuff, so then I'll like go through and unfollow places that aren't giving me the type of news that I'm.
It's
looking
like they had the Greg and Tim show a sticky tack on the wall,
Yeah.
and then she took it off the wall,
and it peeled
Yeah.
the paint.
and
then I threw the ball of
and then
sticky
she totally
tack.
forgot.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
But we know, because right after
I ousted myself.
I sent the message to you, and right after that, I noticed that we got a new subscriber.
Did you?
I'm like, oh, well, she's subscribed now. And then after that, we got like 3 more new ones. So I think that maybe you posting that video
Good.
got us a few subscribers.
My sister called me today. We were talking about a bunch of random other stuff. Not allowed to talk politics, so it was not about that.
Just not yet.
But my sister and I were chatting, and she said, "I saw that thing about those guys. Like, were they trying to be mean to you?" And I was like, "Probably," but it was awesome. That was hilarious. And she's like, "It sounded like a dig," and I'm like, "I think it was, but it was super funny, and I know that we get along, so it's okay."
So you said some people don't want to put all. No, I said some people don't want to put all their stuff out in the world, and some people are Jasmin Laine. Some people don't want their thoughts given out to the world, and some people are Jasmin Laine.
I'll give you some.
And you like literally fell over.
You laughed so hard. I've watched that video on repeat more times than I would like to count. It like you laughing made me laugh. Like that was iconic.
It was recorded right after we did our live.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why it was so fresh for us, and it was just, it wasn't a dig on like.
Oh, it was
being
great.
Mean. It was more of a dig on.
I didn't think it was mean at all. If I did, I wouldn't have shared it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. This is quality content right here.
And the rest of it was not.
Well.
So you are no longer on morning radio.
Mm-mm.
you're doing your own thing.
Mhm.
Or do you have more time on your hands? And what are you doing with it?
Oh my gosh, do I ever have more time on my hands? Wow. You know what? Honestly, to get a little sentimental, and this is not a like a dig in any way, shape, or form towards what I used to do, but I worked in media since I was 17 years old. It is literally all that I've known. And especially when you're starting out, boy, oh boy, do you have to work hard to get up that ladder. Like summers where I worked 110 days straight, no overtime, crazy shifts, night shifts, morning shifts, doing a morning shift, then going into the lounge room, napping and working again for like the evening, like just crazy amounts of work that went into it. And, it's so insane to me being out of that schedule. One, just how good I feel to actually sleep now, whereas I wasn't before, but also just the amount of things in my life. And it really makes me sad, I think, for so many things that I used to not take advantage of or miss
Yeah.
because of my career, because my career was the absolute most important thing in the world to me. And there's so many examples I can pull of times where like my family really needed me, or there was something that I really should have been at for like moral reasons,
Yeah.
that I chose my career over that because I was scared of, like, you're always scared of losing your career. So your career is always coming first.
There's
And
always somebody pulling at you to
100%.
go above you type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
like, and it's one of those things, and I was really trained into this from a young age. Like, if you say no, somebody else is going to say yes.
Mhm.
So say yes every time, and I was like that.
Yeah.
And the timing of this is rich because it was just like 2 weeks or something after my final day there when my nephew was born, and my sister called me. It's like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday or something, and she's like, "Hey, can you bring me a phone charger?" My sister lives out of town, so I'm thinking that's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, I'll bring you a phone charger. Like, what kind of phone do you have? Has a different iPhone than I do. I don't have the charger that she needs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll go to Walmart. I'll buy you a charger. Okay. So I get this charger and I call her. I'm like, "Hey, I'm on my way." She said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you we're on the 3rd floor." And I'm like, "What? The 3rd floor of what?" She said, "We're at the hospital." And I'm like, "Oh my, you're at the hospital? Okay." And so then I go to the hospital, and it was like, as soon as I came in, I saw her, and I saw a lot of her that day. But as soon as I walked in, she was like on all fours, like totally in labor, about to finally like get back up on the bed and whatever, in so much pain. And she said, I just remember she looked back, she's like, "If you stay here, you're going to see things that you might not forget." And I said, I'm like, if you guys are okay, if you want to have it with just the two of you, that's fine. But like, if you're comfortable having me here, I'd love to be here. And she was super down for that. And so I stayed for the whole thing. And I think I got out of the hospital around maybe midnight or so. And I just realized so much, like, wow, if I still worked morning radio, I could have never been here for this.
Yeah.
And wow, what a beautiful, life-changing moment that was. I can't even, it's insane how much I love my nephew that I watched being birthed more than I love his brother, who I didn't. Love them both a lot.
Yeah.
But the one that I was there for, like, to be in the room when he takes his first breath and we're sharing that air, like, it's so incredible how beautiful of a moment that was. And it happened so shortly after, where I really kind of realized, whoa,
Yeah.
this is so crazy to actually like have a life and to not work, nap, then work from home a little bit more, then, kind of sleep maybe, then go back to the grind, and just to do that for so long. So yeah, lots and lots of time in the day now. But even so, I've been doing so much other stuff outside of that even in my studio at home, I swear there's some days like I'll probably spend anywhere from 6 to 13 hours, give or take,
Yeah.
in there, just doing stuff, making content, researching, whatever it may be. It usually feels like 2 hours because it flies by so fast.
Yeah.
But
Is Lulu still knocking on the door, or do you let her in now?
she has a chair now.
Oh, she has a chair
Yeah.
now.
She
Okay.
sits on her chair like a very nice little princess.
Just waiting
She is
for her time.
hilarious. She will just sit back there and she'll just watch as I'm doing things.
Yeah.
So-
which is very
So
cute.
you watching your sister
Mhm,
give the miracle of birth,
mhm.
and it's an incredible experience. Do you think to yourself, I wouldn't mind one of these?
I want 7.
7?
7. Yeah.
Wait till you have one.
I want 7.
I know.
I always say that though, because to me, it's like, if having 7 is obviously insane. I'm way too old to start doing that now. But at the end of the day, like, if I pray for 7, maybe I'll be lucky enough to have one.
or
Those odds are
or
good.
10.
Yeah.
There is something in between.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
1
That's
and
true.
there's 7.
Like a friend of ours, they had 3, and their oldest is the boy, and they have 2 younger sisters,
Mhm.
and he really wanted a brother, so he was praying for a brother, and so they got pregnant, and they're having twins,
There you go. You can
boys.
be efficient.
So he's getting 2 little brothers instead of just 1. So you have 2 little sisters and 2 little brothers, but like
Oh.
it's gonna be. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into yet.
That'll be a lot for sure. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Family's everything. I've always kind of abided by that. Like I've always known how valuable that is. And it's been so beautiful. And I hate myself for it, I think, because I'm so upset at myself for letting a job, dictate so much of my life. And I was okay with it. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought I wanted and needed. But then being removed from that is just like, whoa, this is life, and it's so wonderful.
We talked about a bit about the myth of balance in a couple of our last episodes, and how there's always one thing that's pulling at you more, whether it's your job, whether it's your family, and I said it's very difficult to be great at one thing and not have other things fall by the wayside.
Yep. I totally agree with that.
And so sometimes I guess it can backfire. Do you feel like you've lost time?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think there's like a couple big moments in particular that make me feel that way. And having said that, I guess I should say like yes and no, because my career that I had was the most amazing experience ever. Like I got to do so many incredible things. I was so happy for the vast majority of it. And it was such a blessing to be able to do that. And I truly am so honored that I was even given that opportunity, because it is so hard to get into that industry. And I'm again just beyond grateful for it. But at the same time, and maybe even this is a bit of a gender stereotype of sorts, but I find so many women, especially nowadays in the culture that we have, where it's like women are going to work, you're a boss babe or whatever hashtag you want to use that day. And you just really focus on so many of these things that at times you may not always be naturally driven to be focusing on that, but you're told this is what you got to do. This is who you should be. You're a powerhouse, whatever. And you want that. But then sometimes you pull away, as I have been lately, and you're kind of in this simpler life. And like nowadays, do you know how happy I am if I make muffins for Steven by the time that he gets home from work, and to see how happy he is that I made muffins? Like,
and you brought these muffins, right? Yeah.
So let me just go get them.
Did you promise something last time too?
I think so, probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But I love.
We're just here to like.
I was thinking the same thing.
I do like just so many of those simpler things that women are such great caregivers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that sort of thing that I definitely missed out on more. And I'm sad about that, and I kind of regret it. Like I remember even there's a funny picture that always comes to mind, but my brother was in a car accident a few years ago, and he was in the hospital, and every person from my family was there. Like it was pretty rough. And my family had asked, like, hey, like he's in the hospital, can you come? And I was like, I can't. Like I'm working right now. Is he okay? Like, yeah, he's breathing. I'm like, okay, well, I can't come then. As long as he's breathing, we're good. Wish I could, but like I can't get off work. If I do, I'm gonna let somebody down, or it was just too much. And my family sent me a photo, which was kind of funny, of my brother in his hospital gown. And then there's like my mom and sister on either side of him, and everybody was holding up their hands like this. And then they said, "Where's Jasmin?" in the caption. So I always think of that though too. Like I'm like, no, I really should have been there. Like, he was okay, but I should have been there. And my focus was so much more on my job at the time and not wanting to disappoint my boss that I was okay with disappointing my family.
Yeah.
Like what sense does that make?
Yeah.
And there's so many little things like that now that I just really see clearly.
There's so much fear in when you have a job, there's so much fear of losing that job. Whereas if you work a job without that fear, sometimes you can do it better job at
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So like even like right now while you're making these videos, you're doing it without a fear now.
hmm
Whereas when you started, you probably had a little bit more of a
Oh yeah.
hesitation and a fear. Now your whole personality can come out with that,
Mhm.
right? So
Well, and how beautiful is it too that, I'm independent. That comes with a lot of struggles, certainly. Like financially, mostly in time, because it's just me.
yeah,
I'm grateful that I really enjoy doing everything that I do, but it's just the coolest thing ever. Like I wake up, I cuddle in bed with my dog every morning and, get up, make some coffee, maybe watch the news, start doing some work, take a break, take the dog for a walk, go back to work a little bit, take a break from that at some point, make dinner,
yeah,
like it's just the day is broken up in a way that just makes so much more sense.
yeah.
And yeah, and I couldn't have any of the stuff that I do right now had it not been for that career, right? And I recognize that, but it is
It kind of molded you to where you are,
yeah.
but it also made you appreciate what you missed,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So now that you're seeing certain things, you can appreciate them a little bit more
And I
probably.
feel like I'm acting more on them too. Like there's so many instances now where like my sister, she has a toddler and a baby, like a
Mhm.
newborn basically. He's only a few months old. And she'll be like, "Hey, can you come help me with bedtime because like my husband, he's out for dinner with his friends and I can't do this by myself." And again, my sister lives out of town, but I'm like, "Yep, hopping in the car now. See you in less than an hour." Like
Yeah.
I'll be there, not a problem. And just to have those moments and just that freedom is just wow, does it ever make you rethink life and so many of the things that we're programmed into believing and the things that we need in order to have enough money to live a happy life.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of come into with like the struggles. Like, yeah, it sucks financially. It's not nearly as stable as I'm used to, but I'm making it work in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I've gotten real good at saving money, so that's been a huge bonus.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
So, yeah.
Less spending and less frivolousness
Yeah.
type of thing.
Do you see your platform growing into a place where it is financially stable to the point of where you used to be? Like, what are some of your goals?
Financially, I'm very close right now to where I used to be, which I was never expecting. So I am
Yeah.
absolutely shocked. But actually, I think this was less than a month ago now. Steven and I were having a chat and there were some of he never puts anything on me. So this is always me who's like, it's more so I'm talking at him
Yeah.
and then he just says yes or no. But we were chatting and I had said like, I should probably try to figure something out soon in terms of maybe getting something a little bit more stable. I loathe the idea of going to a 9 to 5 or something like that. It's what a privileged thing to say, but I don't like it. I did that for many years during my career and it wasn't great. I did the mornings. It wasn't great either. You're just exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
But I had said to him, can you just really trust me? I said, give me 5 months. That's all I want. And he even said, he's like, well, why 5 months? Like, what is 5 months? And I'm like, I don't know. That's a deadline I'm putting on myself.
Yeah.
5 months. And I really just want to see if I continue to trend in the direction that I currently am. Within 5 months, we can revisit this conversation. And if it's not working, then maybe I'll consider getting a 9 to 5 or something. Because obviously I don't want you to be carrying the brunt of all of our financial issues if you don't have to be. He seems to be more than happy to be
Yeah.
for now. But I don't want that. If I can contribute in any way, shape, or form, I'd like to. So that was kind of my deadline. And then it's been pretty incredible. Even just this last month, I tripled the amount that I would normally make after
Nice.
really having that time dedicating to it, which I think has been really beneficial. And even he's said to many times, like, man, that's crazy. We literally had that conversation not even a month ago. And I'm like, see, just trust me. I'm Jesus taking the wheel. Just trust me. Like, I know I'm in my office a lot, but I feel this thing in me. And I just know that if I work hard enough and I try hard enough and I learn as much as I can. So
You're putting your faith in your talents, essentially.
yeah, I guess you could put it like that.
It's funny you say Jesus take the wheel, but also in the same sentence you're saying I put a lot of sweat and tears into it. That's one of the questions that I've had. Like we talk about faith all the time because we come from a faith background, but like where does your sweat and God meet? Because if you're putting all this effort into it, you're seeing the fruit of your labors, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
faith without works.
Right, but that's the question, right? It's like if are my works like you see the fruit of your works, right?
See,
so you've done it all. What have you had to have put in by? Where's God's part in it?
it's so funny you say that because I literally just had this conversation with somebody last night. Um, so, I asked God for strength. So God gave me suffering so I can be strong. It's something I think about a lot. And I would say in terms of all of this, if you ask God for something, you're not going to get it. You're probably going to get the opposite, which is going to teach you what you need
How to get what you need.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least that's kind of how I take it. But, I remember probably within, I want to say maybe 5 months or so, 6 months or so before I lost my last job, I remember kind of being in a bit of a dark place and asking, like on my drive to work every single day, I had this little prayer that I would just say while I'm driving. And I would always just like pray to my guardian angels and to everybody keeping an eye on me and stuff to just intercede in the things that are causing me pain that I can't control, and to just really show me doors that are open that I don't think are open right now. And it sounds crazy, I guess, or to me, it just sounds like that's how it works. But I just remember praying every single day, and I would pray at nighttime. Like I have a little prayer candle that I use before bed every night too. And I was just praying so much for something. You just show me something, show me that I'm on the right path, please show me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I feel like I was shown that by losing my job, which I thought was going to be the end of me. And that ended up turning into something that opened so many doors that I would have never been able to pursue had that not happened. It was painful, but I learned a lot through it. And it got me to be in a place where I could really pursue what I wanted to and pursue truth in my opinion. And then, I'm putting in all of this work and whatever, but how many other people are there that, maybe this sounds ignorant, but how many other people are there that put in so much work into what they do and it just doesn't really pay off, and for me,
it does and they're miserable.
Yeah, right. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'm definitely putting in a lot of work, but also like I might be in there for 13-hour days, but it feels like nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm having so much fun. I'm enjoying it so much. And I'm just seeing so much. I don't want to say success, but success sounds kind of like gross,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm seeing so much of a payoff, a bigger payoff than I could have ever imagined in my entire life.
The growth.
In such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like that's an answer of my prayers almost, of asking, please show me something and just show me that I'm on the right path and that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And to me, the response to that is reflected in the hard work that I do to put out what I do and for it to be received in the way that it is.
You're Canadian when you apologize for the word success. It's like, you're allowed to be successful.
I just don't.
It's not against the law.
And not just Canadian, but rural Canadian, right? Like,
I feel bad to say that I'm doing well in my perceived.
I don't know. I'm not a prideful person. It feels weird to say.
I have success, but I don't enjoy it.
Yes. I have success, but I'm really sorry if that makes you feel bad about yourself.
I apologize.
I apologize for my success.
So
today.
I think we have reached the 20 minutes. Have we?
Yeah, we're over 20.
Okay.
We went 32 minutes.
We went 32 minutes.
32 minutes.
without
So like
talking about
in the
politics.
timer, it would have went red.
And
For
and not to say we do not appreciate talking about politics. We just didn't want the entire time.
And we can
taken
get
away by
into politics. We can get into politics. We're
Yes.
going to let it flow naturally.
Y'all are in control here,
Because
okay?
But when we do, and we can move on to
Brandon, if
something
you can
else.
swipe up to some of the questions, we haven't even got to any of the questions yet. So
Stop.
No, we haven't. But when we do, I would like
What?
to start it off. But you can go to something else.
Okay, do you want to swipe up to my questions then? Now Jasmine's cheating on the test again.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Like a lot of our guests have started to cheat on the tests. They know that there's a TV there.
Well, can
and
you
they
get a smaller screen?
Well, then Tim can't see it. He's old.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I even make it in 16 font for him. So
What's that say? Get my spectacles
Let
out.
me get the sticky tack.
do we want to ask questions or do you want to just keep on going with conversation?
I don't know. I was fully expecting to start politics at the 20-minute mark.
We don't have to do politics.
We can do
No,
some
we
politics.
definitely want to.
Tim
do
wants to get
okay.
into
I
politics.
just want to start off. Can we just do a little bit and then we go back to it? Maybe.
Sure. He's so
Okay.
excited for like
Okay.
I don't know who is
Listen.
we had to
listen.
hold off for politics
Listen.
more, him or you, because he's like
I'm
when
fine.
when we talked, the last time we talked was right before the U.S. election.
Mhm.
both of you said the same thing.
Mhm.
You
Oh, yeah.
said, what's going to happen? And you said, well, I think that the Republicans should win, but it's going to be rigged. Basically, this.
No, that's not what we said.
That's not, I
No,
didn't say it was
I
going
don't-
to be
We could
rigged.
probably go back.
I think there's
on
going to be
this.
some funny business happening, and the Democrats will win. This
There's
is
a
what I was getting.
possibility of
Isn't
This is
that.
what I was
California
getting.
still counting votes?
Does-
Some funny business.
So, okay, what happened? What happened? Did someone sleep in for the Democrats and they forgot to rig it, or what's going on?
I think so, yeah. It was Joe Biden. He was behind it. He
Yeah.
slept in.
I honestly, I'll give my opinion, and then Jasmine can give hers because hers will be
and
more.
by the way, we had
Hers
this-
will make more sense than mine.
Just to clarify, we had this whole discussion. We have a Facebook Messenger chat with their wives and everything, and we said who's going to win, and they said that Lorraine and him said the same thing.
Mhm.
They said, "Yeah, the Democrats are going to steal this thing. It's a rigged game."
Mhm. That
Anyway.
sounds conspiratorial, but I feel like there's
Well, have
Some-
you watched Scandal?
no.
Oh, you gotta
I
watch
feel like
Scandal.
there's some, I don't, okay, you explain yours and then
So honestly, like
look at that smile.
he's so excited. Eh? He's like all of a sudden he's like the Grinch when he just stole Christmas. I honestly thought that places like Pennsylvania, like Georgia, and those places that are always super close wouldn't actually report on that night. And they did.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that was the biggest difference from the year before, or from 4 years earlier.
It took a long time.
We went to bed. We were up until like 1 a.m. watching it at our buddy's cabin. Like we
took a break from Borat.
we
too.
watched Borat for 2 hours. That's right, Borat 2, not even
Okay.
Borat 1.
Okay.
So, and Borat 2 is really good. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all about the
You haven't
C
seen
word.
Borat?
No.
Yeah, it's really really good.
You'd love it.
I probably would.
Yeah.
I think he had one called The Dictator, right? Saw
Yeah,
very
that
good.
one's not as good.
I didn't watch it.
The Borat is funny.
I like how you keep saying the Borat is funny.
It's called the Borat. I think
Is it?
No, it's called Borat.
It's called the Borat.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Anyway,
Check
we
that.
stayed up until like 1 a.m. watching it at our. We actually went to our buddy's cabin. 5 guys go to a cabin and we watched the election, and that was what we were doing that night. And we left at like
Wow.
1 a.m.
That
This
is
was
so redneck.
2019, redneck.
It wasn't
so
Again,
redneck.
it wasn't just.
It was a nice cabin in Petersfield.
Redneck.
Yeah, with
How's
a
it redneck?
big screen
There's nothing
TV.
wrong with being redneck
How is it redneck?
because it's total. Hey boys, you want to go to the cabin? We're gonna watch the election live.
We had steaks too.
Oh, we're gonna eat some steaks.
What is
Maybe
this?
we'll throw
What's
on
that
some
voice?
Borat.
That's the voice.
Okay, what's the
she has.
difference between going to the cabin and watching the election or going to the spa with the guys?
Wait, we got to get into that question later because
Is that redneck too? Or is it bougie?
That might be another kind of.
What?
Anyway, so we stayed up till 1 a.m. At that time, Trump was winning.
Yeah.
He was winning
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
just like this one.
hmm
The only difference is this one, it was like, no, we're at 98% of the votes. He won. Like there's only 100,000 votes left there, and he's winning by 200,000, so they can't change. Whereas in 2019, I feel like even when it was like 90% of the vote, all of a sudden there was
Boom.
there was
Yeah.
extra votes that showed up. So
Mhm.
that was my worry.
hmm
And you know, when I went to bed this time though, I think they had already like announced that he was declared the winner,
hmm
which was
Yeah, I think
way
it was.
different.
They called it pretty early.
Yeah.
Which, very different, very, very different. And that's one thing too. If I'm not mistaken, because he took like California and everything, right? Like California, New York. I
So
thought.
he took the states but not the cities.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so
gotcha,
he didn't get any of the electoral votes there.
Gotcha.
So like all the rural areas, if you look at the map, it's red.
Yeah.
And then there's
yeah.
all these blue
Teeny.
dots. But that's where the people
Mhm.
are.
I was really surprised, to say the least.
Yeah.
But actually, even having said that, I just saw this today. One of Kamala Harris's somebody on her campaign did a video, and he shared that they willingly or knowingly, maybe this isn't even true, but I just saw it. You gotta
Yeah.
trust the internet. But he shared that they knowingly were giving false information with the polling or
Okay.
something. There was like I saw a big story about that. Obviously I can't verify it because I didn't dig into it, but
Like giving Kamala false information.
yeah, to
So she
make it
thought
seem like she was
winning?
leading, but she
Okay.
wasn't. Yeah.
in the polls before the election.
Yes, yeah. So to give kind of the public the perception that the Democrats were doing really well versus not.
Probably went backwards.
Because
because-
usually when it's one way, the perception is people would like to vote to counteract that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of strange they would do that.
Yeah.
But the percentage at the polls, it was closer. The polls were closer this time than they were in the other two elections, the Clinton election and the second election. So
Did you
They
know that
closed
this is the
today.
first time that Donald Trump won the popular vote?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he won
that's
the popular
incredible.
vote. The first
Well, it
time.
goes to show for everybody who's saying, "Oh, you're an ist, you're a phobe, you hate women, blah blah blah." Really?
Yeah.
Do we? Really?
but that
he got the highest
yeah.
percentage of Latino votes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
but that was part of the problem with the Democrats. And,
That's why they lost.
But that their whole thing was vote for me because I'm a woman
Yep.
and I'm black and don't.
I'm just saying. I saw her.
Okay,
I
Janet
saw
Jackson.
her dad's birth certificate. I'm just saying.
You're not
Did
allowed
you
to
see
say
her
that. though.
mom's?
Her mom is Indian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is that is that black now?
no.
Yeah.
No, but isn't one of her parents? No.
That's what Janet Jackson said. I heard she wasn't black, and she got in trouble for her.
She
for
did
her
get
own
in
community
trouble.
for that.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to post that, or should we just bleep that whole segment?
I'm just.
It'd be just funny if it was just like
You know what I think we
and all
need-
she said was, "I heard."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then
I
there's
heard
me.
that someone else heard.
Should we post that? No.
We go to your voice.
Rednecks. All these rednecks just hanging out at cabins.
Okay, so let's
You know you're redneck when you have a cabin in
Yeah.
Petersfield.
yeah.
I love Peters.
Is it because it was a cabin?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the whole thing about the guys at the spa.
Okay.
Because we went to the spa with us three guys.
What spa?
Clarso.
In
Oh, right.
Elkhorn.
We're
Yeah.
sitting there with robes.
Hey, buddy,
Four of
that's
us.
pretty romantic. I'm not here to judge. Live your best life.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can judge. I'm
How
curious.
funny is that though? Because it's like if for chicks to do that, best day ever.
Yeah.
Guys do it.
So
It's
so
weird.
So,
So-
girls go on vacations together,
Yeah.
right? So we have a mutual friend. His name is rhymes with Matthew. He always every year he wants us to go to Mexico with the guys. A guys trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
We're all going to go. The guys trip to Mexico, and it's kind of a double standard because I always say, well, I don't want to because that's something I feel like I want to do with my wife.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it shouldn't be weird because girls do it all the time.
Yeah.
It seems like a double standard. right?
I know it is. It is. And that makes me want to retract my comment because that is I caught myself there. See, programming, trying to get out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and we do weird things.
I don't even think that's weird. I think I'm just being judgy for the sake of being judgy, but
that's
it's
okay.
not weird.
We appreciate that. It makes
Well,
for
it's the same
good
thing as
conversation.
Yeah.
girlfriends call each other girlfriends. but
Yeah.
boyfriends don't call each. I don't call Greg my boyfriend.
That would be weird. Let's not start that one.
That is weird.
Yeah, girlfriends do call each other girlfriends.
Why do girls need to specify the gender of their friend?
Yeah,
Right? Like, yeah, that's just my girlfriend over there. It's like, that's just your friend.
and if you say that,
Like-
you wouldn't say that's my boyfriend if it's not your boyfriend.
No, then people say guy friend.
That's my
Yes.
guy
That's
friend.
and my guy friend.
Right.
I don't have
Okay.
guy friends anymore, but
You're not allowed.
you know what's
Steven's
actually
prohibited her from having a guy
Steven
friend.
is the chillest guy ever. No, it's
Yeah.
me. I don't know what it is. You know what? Growing up, I was such a loser in high school and I had tons of guy friends. Looking back on it now, no duh. But that didn't cross my mind before. Oh, everybody's innocent. But I just feel like the older I get, the more, and this is generalized certainly, but the more I'm like, well, if I need a male opinion on something, I'm going to go to Steven.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to my brother-in-law. I'm gonna go to my brothers
Yep.
or my dad or my grandparents. You know, like I'm like I don't need any guy friends. And like, why do you want to be my friend? What do
Yep.
we have in common? I hate sports, and your size 9 shoe is not the same as mine.
And you don't go to Thermea.
Exactly.
So
Why? Why?
This is one of the questions from the previous
We
episode.
just
never went
finished
into it.
talking about my financial instability.
Oh, it's
Okay.
I just bought 2 passes to Thermea.
Oh, wow.
194 for.
Oh,
Listen. 194. I'm talking about price.
okay.
194 for 2 people. $194.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, that's because what is
But it's an all-day
Elkhorn?
thing.
Elkhorn's not crazy.
Elkhorn's cheaper. It was $55 for us. We started at $5.
I guess it's a bit of a drive.
We were on
but-
a evening 5 to 10. It was the cheapest possible
Okay.
of the week.
Yeah.
And they don't have sliding scales. They used to at Thermea. They don't anymore. So it can be as high as 80 but plus tax at Clarso too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Clarso's nice because they don't stop you from talking. You can actually talk.
They
in
have
that one.
they have rules
Mm.
ish. Like don't take your phone out. We're all taking our phones out. It's like
Boys trip.
yeah.
We have that picture and we got it up right now.
Yeah.
It's
a beautiful sunset.
It was a beautiful sunset. It's funny, the
We
four
held hands and
guys,
watched it. It was
and we're
great.
all like, we got to be there in time for the sunset. We got there in time, and we had the sunset. It looked amazing. I'll show you afterwards. You'll die. You'll love it. But
Oh boy.
we do a men's breakfast every week, or not every week, every month, and we were talking about this. And there's a lot of guys that want to get together and go to Thermea. So we could bring like 15 guys to Thermea, which would be weird.
That's a lot of
15's
dudes.
too much. I don't want 15.
15's that's a lot.
You know, if you invite 40 guys, only
Yeah.
7 will go anyway.
You guys have 15 friends? Jealous.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have more than 15 actually.
How do you
Yeah.
keep up with
Maybe
that?
it's 45
you
in
don't
our
have
group
15
chat.
girlfriends?
Absolutely not.
No.
No way. I used to have a big group of girlfriends and then I stopped talking to all of them.
For what reason?
There was a weird event that took place and it very much changed me in some ways, where I just kind of snapped out of it and I was like, you know what? I actually don't want to party. I don't really want to drink anymore. And you guys are kind of for lack
The girls were?
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, you know what? Actually, you're kind of like catty girls. Like I was much younger at the time and I remember just being like, I don't want to do this anymore, actually. And I remember going home that day and I deleted everybody off of Facebook. Big deal.
Mhm.
And I stopped and I hung out with my sister for like an entire summer. And that was about it. And I have a totally different friend group now.
Do you find that your group of friends limit your thinking and where you're at? And they say something about a financial status. You are within a certain amount between your top 4 friends that you all kind of hang around the same.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that you limit yourself by that group of friends. Do you find that?
I think yes and no. I'm pretty lucky nowadays because I have been so selective. But I certainly think when I had a really big group of friends, I allowed my insecurities almost to make decisions for me versus just doing what I wanted to do, and then having that freedom of having like less people relying on you, less people to impress. Again, I was much younger at the time, so those sorts of things were far greater on my mind than they are right now.
Yeah.
I didn't like who I was when I was with them at all. I didn't like where I was going, and it's like you see their lives, and a lot of them were older than I am, and you just kind of see that, and it was like, I actually don't think I want that at all. I think the drinking was probably a really big one for me, though. That was the catalyst for sure. Where it was just kind of that one time where I'm like, I don't want to do this ever again. Actually,
So switching that around, then you're friends with a new group of friends. Do you find that you're influencing changes in their life?
oh, they are all radicals now. Yeah, they are
Radicals?
Every single one of them is funded by.
I was
Russia,
thinking more
without
so
a
along the
doubt.
lines of like they don't drink as much or
No,
they're not partying as much. But okay, they're radicals.
And we know there are less than 15 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I probably have like 3 friends that I would consider to be really, really close.
And one guy friend.
I have Steven.
Yeah.
And that's my only friend.
Yeah.
That is a male by choice. Help me. But yeah, so I have 3 of them that I would say are really, really close, not including like my mom and sister. Those are my best friends without a doubt. And then I probably have another 5 or so girlfriends that are people that really, really adore them, trust them with my life, certainly, but just not as heavily invested. That's like more of the group that, you know, if we hang out, it's because we're going out somewhere, like not so much the type where you can come over on a Sunday morning randomly because you're in the area and I look like Steve Buscemi. And I'm like, come on down, folks. Like, so I have a
To my
very
cabin in Petersfield.
come on down. We're watching the election. It's like, Dad, what are you talking about? The election was 3 weeks ago.
Does your dad look like Steve Buscemi?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where I get it from. Is that my
I
dad?
don't
I don't know.
Well, you're the only one that thinks you look like Steve Buscemi.
I do look like Steve Buscemi.
I don't
No,
think anybody
I'm
actually
sorry.
thinks you look like Steve
Look
Buscemi.
at this. If I make this face, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I'm sorry. I didn't see till you made the face.
Brandon, did you get a picture? We'll just do a still shot
It
of
was
that
like
one
side by side.
for
It
the
was
thumbnail.
crazy.
That
I'm
was
sorry,
at
I didn't see
the
I'll have to send you one. I have one of me with no makeup on.
55-minute mark. That was
Looking
perfect.
like
With no makeup on too. Yes.
Oh, it's brutal.
I had a really funny Steve Buscemi picture, but it was such low resolution that I couldn't put it up. It's the one where he has like the eyes that go both ways,
Yeah.
and yeah, I thought that one would have been funnier, but it was such a bad resolution. I went with the other guy, but I don't think anybody actually thinks you look like Steve Buscemi, so
I do.
think you should just.
I want you to
when-
affirm
okay.
my identity, okay? I am Steve.
When? Because right now you do not look like Steve Buscemi.
And you're dating a
Steve.
Steven.
I
Yeah.
know.
That's perfect.
You can tell I'm desperate.
So what time of day do you think you look like Steve Buscemi?
I would say from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. Certainly. Yeah.
Well, that's because she doesn't wake up till 10 a.m. now
Mhm.
because she doesn't do the morning shift.
Hey, I get up sometimes earlier than that.
Sometimes earlier than 10 a.m.
Sometimes. I sleep until 10.
Okay, this morning, what time did you wake up?
This morning I actually got up earlier than usual. I was up at 7:40 this morning.
It's a reasonable time.
I would like to be getting up around that time all the time. But
What's your case? So you had a morning ritual when you worked at the radio station.
Mhm.
Now, what's your new morning ritual? What do you get up and you do these three things every morning? What is it?
So I wake up, I have an alarm that goes off at 7:30. I hit snooze. Then I have another alarm that goes off at 7:40. Today I did not hit snooze. And then I will usually start off the day, first things first, drinking a ton of water.
Jackson Springs.
This
Jackson
episode brought to you by
Springs water.
Jackson Springs. Not really.
I know I always get up, have a really big glass of water first, and then I wait usually about an hour or 2 hours after I wake up till I have my first coffee. Don't know why I do that. I just do. But
Better for you.
I've heard that, yeah, but
Yep.
I don't know if it's actually true or not. And I usually so because during the actual day were like working hours of the day, I am just so unbelievably focused about what I'm working on that day. I usually will avoid getting out of bed until approximately 10 a.m., sometimes 11 a.m., and I just play on my Nintendo Switch. And watch the news and prep for, like, I'll watch news and save things, and I have like a notepad. I don't get out of bed though, where I will just take notes of everything I want to talk about or things that I need to do that day. I cuddle with Lulu, play some Dreamlight Valley on my Switch. Then
Dreamlight Valley.
it's the best game ever. Have you heard of it? Wow.
Wow.
I'm a loser.
Is that a girl game?
It's like a Disney game.
Oh, it's a girl game.
It's a girl game. That's fine.
Jack Skellington's in it.
Oh, from the Halloween movie.
Yeah. From the
Um,
Halloween movie.
Christmas Before.
Nightmare Before
The
Christmas.
Nightmare
The
Before Christmas. Sorry.
Oh boy.
It's not Gremlins, that's for sure.
Okay. That's a good one. They need to come out with a video game.
Gremlins video game?
oh,
Is there
hell
no Gremlins video game?
That would be an iconic video game where you just destroy the city.
Have you seen
As a
Gremlins yet?
gremlin?
I have seen it, but it's been years.
Yeah.
Decades since
I watched
a
it at
shame.
Christmas last year, and
Of course you
it doesn't hold up.
No.
I love it. We know we've been through this before.
I
Yes.
just remember the gremlin in the microwave and exploded.
Oh,
I
yes.
just remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I watched it, and I haven't watched it since.
Oh, so
We'll
did
have
it
to go
scare
up to
you
the cabin
and watch.
and watch,
And watch
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
I'm Jasmin Laine, and I approve this message.
We're all gonna go to the cabin.
You're gonna watch some gremlins.
You
But
can
yeah.
get some new guy friends.
So
There's 5 of us, and we make steak.
oh, you know what? I might be down then. I might
It's
be down
overcooked,
then.
like that was Cook said, but
That's okay.
Wait, how do you like your steak? We're gonna judge you based
I'm
on
a
this.
medium, I would
Okay.
say.
So not a shoe leather steak person.
No,
Okay, that's good.
no. Why did your voice lower 3 octaves when you said that?
Did I say something?
he's referring to an inside joke we don't want to tell this.
Okay, that's
We're not
good.
allowed to tell this. Did I change my voice for it?
It sounded like it.
I guess I'll find out when I edit
What
this.
kind of a steak liker are you?
That's
That's good.
Well, you gotta be tough when you eat steak, right? You can't just eat steak without being tough. Then again, we eat a lot of tough steak, which really, it's because one guy likes his steak well done.
I think he cooked.
That's
it.
not a guy.
I think he cooked it.
That's
at
not
that
a guy?
church.
That's a boy.
Well,
Oh.
I personally think he just.
Can we get him on the phone? No?
We're not throwing anybody under the bus.
No, we won't say his name. We'll just get him on the phone and get him to hear that
No.
statement.
This is a good friend. Keep him.
He only does this once in a while.
This is a
Mostly-
bad friend. Be wary of him.
Well, he's the one that takes things too far.
That's okay. We
I
all
don't know
need
if
those.
That's true. Okay, we'll go on.
Do you want me to continue with my day plan, or are we
Yes. We kind of went on a tangent there, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, and then usually I will hop in my studio at approximately 11:30 a.m. roughly. I try my darndest to have all of my research and whatnot done to be filming by about 2 p.m. Filming usually takes about an hour or so, depending on the video. And then after that, it's just kind of like editing, responding to emails, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of chilling out. I always make sure that my videos are ready to post and scheduled ahead of time so that as soon as Steven gets home, he can sit on the couch and we eat dinner and watch me.
You watch yourself?
I have to make sure. Just
So
in
you said
case
he doesn't watch these videos.
That's what I thought you said too.
Well, no, he doesn't watch my social media. He watches my YouTube.
Oh, okay.
My social media, though, he doesn't care at all.
Yeah.
But
So like when this posts, that night you're gonna sit and watch dinner. Hi,
Mhm.
Steven, by the way. And what is said dinner?
totally depends on
What's
the
the
day.
go-to?
I'm in soup mode because
It's
winter, cold, snow.
Followed by muffins.
Yeah,
soup and muffins.
the love,
Kind of
the
soup.
love of my life. I am a homemade gal, so I literally don't know what it was. I was blessed with the gift of knowing what tastes good inside of a soup, and
Okay.
so I wing it all the time, and
Oh.
they turn out pretty good
The
most
best,
of the time.
best concoctions are just when you start.
Yeah.
throwing stuff.
Like I'll
Leftovers.
literally, I'll be
Yeah.
like, "What do we have in here?" Okay,
Dirty
you know,
shoe, onion.
okay, Shrek.
I'm making it taking things too far and made a joke. Anyway,
So what's that soup? Wedding? Is it called wedding soup or wedding
Italian wedding. Yep,
Italian wedding?
it's got like sausage. And
It's like everything left over from like a wedding.
it's very good.
and you make it into a soup.
Yeah.
It's called Italian wedding soup.
People have sausages at wedding.
Yeesh. I don't know. Maybe an Italian wedding. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
It's got noodles in it, and it's got
catered by Olive Garden. They got the.
no. They don't
Isn't that
have Italian.
minestrone at Olive Garden?
There's 3 of them.
Oh,
Oh yeah, the zuppa. Have you ever had zuppa Toscana from Olive Garden?
that
that the
is
worst one?
everything.
It's the cream one with the sauce. It has sausage in it.
Mhm,
It's
That's a
like-
You
good
just
one.
said, "Is there
I know that was
sausage?"
stupid
Yeah.
of me. Clearly,
Hey,
that's a good soup.
Yeah.
Go easy on yourself, okay? Sometimes you forget about things. You're getting older.
I know. Oh,
You are absolutely not old, but anyway,
I said getting older.
everyone's getting older. We were older.
We're older.
One
All
day
of
than
us right now.
yesterday.
Yeah.
now we're. Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
And so you finish up the soup, and does he critique your videos?
I always ask him to, but he's not good at it.
So I find and that people that are easygoing also can sometimes not be so good at the constructive criticism.
Oh, he's terrible.
because they just you do you.
He'll be like, "Yeah, that was good."
Does he ever throw out the F word?
He
Does he ever throw out fine? It was
Fine? Ooh. No,
there-
he's a good guy.
Is there a difference between good and fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. When a girl says fine,
Oh, you
it
are in.
means you're not
you're
fine.
in.
How was it?
trouble.
It was fine. I
Yeah.
guess so,
How
Yeah.
was it? Good. Good's okay.
Yeah.
yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. Are you okay? I'm fine. Not good.
No,
No.
you are not fine. You
No.
are about
You
to
better-
explode.
You better go to Therman, get that gift card today.
Kids, we're getting out of the house now.
Yeah, your mom's not
Mom's
fine.
fine.
You've heard the word. You probably just don't know that the word fine means something.
Varying degrees of that word good, fine. Usually it's good.
Good.
Good does not mean necessarily that's good.
Yeah. Like, never mind. I won't go into that story. We'll go somewhere else. So, I wanted to talk a little bit. You were working with Heyman and Co before.
Mhm.
I don't think we talked about this in the last time. If we did, it was very brief. You helped them with designing some clothing and for a cause and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Is that the clothing that went to the awards ceremony? Is that the same
No.
line?
Oh, it was the same line, but
Okay.
it wasn't the stuff that I had worked on. No, it was a
Okay.
different line that she had.
And you just did a recent video with that clothing as well, right?
I think so.
I got this.
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
got
yes.
this. I
Yeah.
got this
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got this.
So what prompted you? Obviously, we've heard in the past the history and the story and everything like that. But what prompted you to make clothing for that?
You know, I think in the moment of grief that I had following that situation, it's just my brain. I do not function well when I have nothing to do and I just sit and experience per se.
Yeah.
And so I find probably as a coping mechanism for myself, I'm just always planning and like on to the next thing. And I think I maybe do that so that I don't have to actually sit with my feelings for too long.
Okay.
And I remember with that situation, one of the very first things that came to my mind was I need to do everything I possibly can to make sure that nobody ever feels the way that we do right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but Hey Matt and Co. It immediately came to mind because I was like, I know that she's somebody that I can go to who can help me do this. And I just feel like it's such a powerful message and it means something so different to so many people, but it's like it's just
Yeah.
a really special little message, you know, and that phrase I got this is something that he and I used to say to each other all the time. I actually literally got "you got this" tattooed on me like a few months before he died, not
Okay.
knowing obviously that he wasn't going to be with us for much longer, solely because it was just one of those things where I always was telling myself that, like when
It's a reminder for yourself.
yeah, and it was just one of those, just a little thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, you got this. But you know, I'd be like, I'd drive into work and I'd see it on my hand, on my wrist, and I'm like, yep, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
And so reaching out to Hey Matt and Co for that was kind of a no brainer, I suppose. But it was really one of those things where I even think while we were all grieving and still are, it's something that people still say to me all the time because it just means something
Mhm.
and it means something different to everybody. But it really is just the simplest reminder that you can keep going. You have to keep going. Like
Yeah.
you got this
Yeah.
even when it feels like you don't. And so to put it on a shirt, I think so that sweater line is the front of it says I got this as a reminder to yourself if you're looking in the mirror or something like that. And then on the back is in a really large font where it says you got this as a reminder to anybody else
That's
behind
following
you.
you.
Yeah, because that's the thing too, is there's so many people who we do not talk to each other or reach out to each other as much as we should.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us fall into the pattern of, oh, well, it's not my problem. I don't need to deal with it. Oh, somebody else probably is doing XYZ. And I think even with that sweater message, like it's silly, it's a sweater, but at the end of the day, though, it isn't just a sweater, you know, to somebody.
Yeah, you see something all the time. It sends you a subconscious message
Yeah.
to be a certain way, right?
Yeah,
My wife has
absolutely.
"Beloved, Chosen, and Free" tattooed on her. Similar
That's
area to you,
cute.
and so it's the same idea,
Mhm.
right?
So-
Just a
visual
little,
reminder.
yeah.
So you embody this in your Instagram, and you try to like show that on your social media every now and again.
Mhm.
You'll input it and everything like that. Do you find that there is pressure on you to continue with that and to continue to make sure that that gets out there, that message gets out there? Is that a pressure that you kind of like put on your shoulders?
I don't think I would say it's a pressure so much as it's like my moral obligation
Yeah.
is how I view it. And you know, it's interesting. I talk a lot of politics, obviously. And so I think some people sometimes when you hear things from me and it's more in the mental health sector, people are like, whoa, weird. I didn't know
Mhm.
about that. And I personally find that politics and mental health go hand in hand. Our politics shape our culture and society in every way, shape and form. They shape the things that people care about, the things that people are angry about, and I really do believe that it goes hand in hand. And I would say for me, when it comes to discussing things politically, it comes from a place that is much more focused on the mental health aspect than it is on bashing whatever is going on that
Yeah.
day. Because I definitely recognize how different people are, especially young men, I would say, in terms of just how people are feeling and how people are treating each other. And I know that a lot of that has to do with some of the narratives politically, even just like the victim mindset of things that are really, really hindering people, and stopping them from growing and from or from even just having like the financial stability or opportunity to
Yeah.
be hopeful for the future, so I feel like it really goes hand in hand. And for me, I would give up anything in my life to be able to, at the very least, be able to push that
Mhm.
out there. That is like the driving force behind everything.
It's almost ironic in my head when you talk about that. It's like I'm using social media to combat the problem almost of social media
Yeah.
is created, right? Because I always say that, 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, if you had an opinion, you'd share it with the five guys at the coffee shop.
Mhm.
And now if you have an opinion and people call you an a-hole because of it, 700 people could do that on one post
Yeah.
because it's getting sent out. You're talking to millions of people at one time, which
Mhm.
I think we're connecting to things like mental instability because you see so many viewpoints and it bombards you all
Mhm.
the time. So I think in my opinion, some of the problem is created by social media, and you're
Yeah.
using social media to combat the problem that social media has created.
No, I would totally agree with that too. And I know that this is a pretty oversaturated word, but even social media, throughout history, what has been the number one tool that really bad people have used to issue propaganda to completely change their society and their people? It has always been like the news, like a newspaper or something. And in our generation, or my generation, today's day and age, it's social media. And it is really crazy, the echo chambers that you see people getting caught in. And I'm guilty of being caught in echo chambers too, but I also have, thankfully, enough self-awareness to at least recognize, like, I know that I'm seeing a little too much
Mhm.
of this right now.
Yeah.
And I need
You're getting your
to,
confirmation bias.
yeah, let's
and-
ration that out. I know that that's not all it,
Yeah.
But even with that, it's so actually, speaking of just echo chambers and stuff, I still would definitely classify myself as like a moderate conservative or traditional libertarian, which means right-wing extremist nowadays. But
in Canada for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson's a libertarian, right-wing extremist.
Yeah. But I do speak politics. I do tend to align a lot more with conservative related things. And I think that is mostly because I truly believe that in order to have a really happy society, you probably need the most minimal amount of government involvement in your personal life as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in history too. I mean, yeah, when it comes to social programming and all these things, they can be really, really helpful. They can also be really bad sometimes. When you have government dependency is something I'm absolutely terrified of. And I see little inklings of that every once in a while being pushed, and it scares the bejesus out of me.
So do you read your comments?
Oh, heck yes, I do.
Yeah.
I try to.
Well, you respond to them.
I try. Yeah.
I know. So some people won't read comments because you're putting stuff out there that can be divisive.
Yeah.
Right? Like you putting out opinions, sometimes use your words of over-opinionated,
Mhm.
right? And when you do that, you open yourself up to criticism.
Yep.
And very harsh criticism.
I love it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Change my mind,
to a certain extent, a negative comment is just as helpful to you as far as building your brand as probably more so than a positive one.
I've had so many, not so many, but I've had my fair share of comments of people who have said things very heavily critiquing me. And I will respond every time with like, that's true. Thank you. I don't like how you went about that. You could have called me a few less names, but you're right about that. And I should have presented that differently.
Right.
And then people will respond back and be like, wow, you just earned a subscriber because I didn't expect you to respond to me in such a nice way. And I'm like, well, no, you were right for sure. And there's actually been a lot of comments that I've exchanged with people too, where we will certainly come from points where we are not on the same page with something. And I think a lot of that has to do with your different lived experiences. And it's just so funny to me because like I've learned so much from the people who disagree with me, and I tend to be very black and white in my thinking, sometimes especially politically, and black and white thinking is not real life. People have so many things that are pressures or frustrations that are weighing on them that lead them into emotionally feeling or reacting a certain way towards something, and I sometimes can put my emotions, in the background and just kind of not pay attention to that very real aspect
Yeah.
of how humans are. And so sometimes I have people who respond to things in a more emotional way, or they'll share a story about their life and how something is, and I'm like, that is absolutely correct, and I did not even consider that perspective because I was only looking at the numbers when I was forming my opinion about this, and totally agree with you there. And then I learn a lot too, and it kind of reminds me, there's certainly a lot of people who are just awful in the comment section, but I would say the vast majority of people, and two, it's one of the reasons why I do often respond to as many things as I can, is because a lot of people, if let's say you're responding meanly, negatively, clearly you're not a very happy person. And if you're sitting here writing all these mean things on my page, clearly there's something you're not like, sure, you might be mad at what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not mad at me as a person. You don't know me. There's something deeper here. And so I always really like to respond to people and thank them, even if people say some nasty stuff. But like, yeah, no, thanks. Even if you're wrong, like, hey, thanks for the feedback.
Well, you seem like a logical person, and I'm assuming that when you were getting into this thing, and it's going to ramp it up, that you would have expected that was coming back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you
the love has been like far outweighed in a way that I was not.
We're trying to get people to comment on something other than the Mandela effect and the Sinbad movie that doesn't exist.
Which in the last 28 days has got 1.7 thousand views.
Okay.
And in the
haven't talked about it.
Last 48 hours has gotten, I think,
months. We haven't.
Last time I looked, it's like 100 views every 2 days, and we haven't talked about it. But Tim, and it's something Tim hates. He hates the Mandela effect.
Same.
Did we talk about it last time?
Oh, we did.
We
for
did.
A long time. We brought it back.
I like to talk about it every now and again.
No.
And it's fun. No, still not fun for you guys. You guys both don't like it. Okay.
Did I ask the question? Did I ask the question about growing up as a female in today's day and age?
No, you didn't. It's at the very top.
I did, but okay. So I have 3 girls, 18, 19, 20 years old.
Oh, your poor wife.
Well, why?
That's a lot of babies back. She was pregnant for like 4
me,
years.
I have 5 females. The dog's even a female.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're a good man.
All right.
You kind of sounded like the Rock from Moana there for a second.
You're welcome.
So sometimes I do want to go.
Yeah, we got her to sing.
Continue. So sometimes I do want to go to the cabin. Anyway, got a tough.
Be a guy and have a rough steak.
So what in your opinion? And maybe you don't know specifically an answer to this question, but what challenges are there for females in the workplace and just society in general that are specific to women?
Oh, I don't want to get political. Can I? I don't know.
No.
I mean, so before getting into politically or whatever, speaking here, first and foremost, I would think insecurities are crazy, especially with social media and stuff. It is unreal how much pressure that puts on somebody and how scary it has become to share your opinion or your view or to go against the grain. That's really challenging. And it takes a lot of not so much courage, but just like a very hard shell to deal with it. And so I find it can be very difficult for anybody who is young to actually figure out who they are versus continuing to be a sheep per se. There's a reason why there's been so many movements that have specifically targeted university-aged kids. And that's because they are still in the brain space of listening to a person of authority. Mm-hmm. And when you have these ideologies and propaganda, for lack of better words, that are really pushed through social media that I'm sure is intentional, to completely disrupt you and to make you focus on things that are not worthy of focusing on, really, most of the time at least. It's so easy for that to dominate. And I think that young women, there is such an immense fear of not belonging and not fitting in. And I think there's so many girls that carry themselves very well, but you would never know how deep that ocean is, like deep inside.
Mhm.
And they would never let you know the things that are actually really bothering them. I think too, this is where I'm getting a little political. There's been the feminist movement, to be honest with you, I think has been one of the saddest things to witness in society in many ways. I'm pretty sure just about everybody is a feminist if you go by what the basic definition is.
Mhm.
Women are doing incredible. Statistically, there's so many different things out there saying like, oh, well, women make less money than men. That's not true, actually. That's some cherry-picked data. That's not actually true. And I think that feminism has really taught women to not focus on the things that are going to provide them meaning in life, and then to also resent men. And there is no good winning situation with that. And it's actually quite incredible when you look at the statistics of women who probably closer to my age, I suppose, but who, left high school and they just started working the corporate ladder, and it was, oh, you work. There's a reason why we have declining birth rates. And to me, that's a lot of that is probably propaganda, really,
Mhm.
of feminist movement. And I hate using the word propaganda, but I don't know what else to use.
Yeah.
Of the feminist movement, of just telling women like, hey, don't be a stay-at-home mom. You shouldn't be a mom. You should work. You need to work so we can have 2 incomes in one household and we can get rich off of you. But it's so empowering to you
Yeah.
to do that. And it's fine. I listen, I'm a busy working woman too, but I think it's important to recognize that.
Yeah.
And those things that make you not focus on the thing that generally speaking, you are inherently made to do.
Mhm.
And you see, and it's very sad to see, and statistically, and if you know anybody as well, women who have worked and worked and worked and worked, and then usually around the ages of like 30 to 32, they hit that point where suddenly now they really want a family, but they don't have a stable relationship because they've been told men ain't, for
Yeah.
lack of better words. Men also have grown resentful of women at that point in time because no girls want to date them because
Yeah.
these girls are on this crazy hierarchy. And it's just like the feminist movement has destroyed so many beautiful things
Yeah.
that made us able to thrive. And I'm talking like third wave feminist movement. There was definitely good things that the feminist movement did, obviously. But I think that's probably some of the biggest challenges is women. Unfortunately, we do have a ticking time clock. We do have a ticking time. What is the word I'm thinking?
Do you have the
ticking clock of time.
What's that clock? What's that bio
By the
biological
biological clock.
right.
Thank
biological
you.
time clock or whatever? Yeah.
We do have that. There's no going back. And I can't tell you how many people I know, and I'm 28, but I have friends, most of them are within about,
You're 28?
Yeah.
You've complained about being old like 5 times in this podcast.
I'm going
You're
on
only
82.
28. You're 28.
Yeah. Find me in a
Oh.
coffin. See ya. That's how I feel most days.
28.
So, have you seen the videos, the traditional wife videos or trad wives? they're
Tradwife,
called?
yeah.
Do you watch any of those? Do you get into that rabbit hole at all?
I've seen a handful, but it's not something I've really
Dove
gone
into yet?
Yeah.
No, okay. They're just they're interesting to me because they get a bad rap
Mhm.
because like these women are staying at home and taking care of their husbands, they're taking care of the clothing, they're taking care of the food, taking care of the house. And I personally know that if I had to do that, that would be more work than my actual job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's not for you.
And it's not for most people.
Yeah.
But anybody that becomes a traditional wife that wants to do the traditional thing, they're looked down upon
Yeah.
as like they're not being successful.
See, again,
and they're
crazy
not.
third wave feminist movement stuff. And it's so bizarre because, like, think about that. Humans have been around for, I don't know, a long time. And we lived like that in relative peace.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way, right? Like that's a silly thought to have. But it's so crazy to me how in the last I don't know, 40 years, let's say, there's been this trend of we want more women to work so that there's more tax dollars collected. I mean, really,
That's-
what is the reason?
Yeah.
And we want women to work for this. And yeah, absolutely. There's tons of women who absolutely want to work. They don't want to have a family. Okay, go on. Like, have at her. But I think just to have that forced where you now feel shamed for doing what you statistically are best at doing. Like,
Yeah.
I love folding laundry. I love baking. I clean my toilet once a week with a Q-tip. I'm a psychopath when it comes to cleaning. I love it. Like, if I'm having a hard day, do you want to know what I do in the summertime at least? I go out in the backyard and I just pick weeds around my garden for hours and I get lost. And it's like all my stresses go away. Like, which is, again, psychotic.
Just quietly, or do you have music going?
No, just quietly.
Quietly?
Oh, I love it. You
No
hear,
headphones.
hear the birds, the wind, that neighbor that I don't like talking crap about
What's
his
his name?
girlfriend again. I don't even know.
Talking crap about
On
his
his
girlfriend.
phone?
Yeah, well, he goes for walks around the block. Oh, it's so annoying. But
Okay.
oh, it's so juicy.
Write it down.
Yeah. I gotta tell Steven about this when
Write
he
it down.
gets home.
What the neighbor said.
But yeah, I would say stuff like that is really, there's a lot of influences, and I don't think that a lot of them are actually really in your best interest.
So well, one of the things you mentioned that I think is really key is that
Folding laundry.
all of this
Oh,
all
sorry.
of this outside noise
Mhm.
that's coming at you, and you have to be a strong personality to kind of take all that and say, no, this is who I am,
Mhm.
and have a strong sense of self to know who they are outside of whoever wants to say that we should do, right? Do you think that's easy? It's harder for a female. Do you think females have a little bit prone to lack that self-esteem?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I would say even many men do as well. I think though women will have that same lacking of self-esteem, we'll call it, for much later in life than men do though. Men, I think, I'm trying to remember like some data in my head as I'm talking about this because I have looked into this before, but to my knowledge, at least, men usually will kind of have a wave like that where they maybe don't feel as worthy until usually about 25, roughly, from what I'm thinking of right now. Whereas women, you can have that feeling your entire life. And women too, you know what? Yes, women are absolutely more emotional. We are more sensitive. Why do you think we're such great mothers and caregivers?
Mhm.
We have that instinct in us, even when we don't have children. It's just like you just have that bond. There's a reason why women friendships are very different than men friendships, you know? And it's because we're different.
Yeah.
And it's the differences that we have are beautiful and they're so complementary to each other, which is one of the reasons why I think it's so sad how vitriolic the conversation has become of like men versus women. It's like, buddy, we need all of us. We need you. Like,
So
why
do you
is there
think-
this narrative trying to tear that apart?
Do you think that, like you say, that men generally, by the time they're 25, have a sense of self,
Mhm.
and women sometimes take a lot longer or never have that? Do you think that that comes from the media and the politicizing of like making sure that women are working,
Mhm.
as opposed to taking care of families or taking care of their kids, or, you know, like even when my mom, like I move out and I start having kids, my mom's still wants to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's, I'm not saying that that's her job, but that's like something that she wants to
It's
do.
just natural.
Right,
Not
whereas-
to all, of course, we're generalizing, but
Yeah.
80, I always say the 80-20 rule, right?
yeah.
Yeah. He likes the 80-20 rule. He learned that last week. So
I did not
a
learn that
good-
last
it's a
week.
good
That's
rule.
I've known that for a long time. Anyway.
but like, do you think that that is why women tend to not find not their purpose, but like their strength in who they are until
Well, I
later
mean,
in life?
if I can be honest, and again, generalizing, but you know, statistically, at least, women tend to not find that until they have children.
Hmm.
And after you have children, you have something in your life that you would do anything to protect. You would go against any grain, you
Mhm.
know, to make sure that your child is going to be okay and have everything.
Yeah.
And I find that that is one of those things where men at times, you know, the biggest responsibility and priority can be work, let's say. It's the most common one, at least. Whereas women work, sure, but I find that it's like that instinctual fierceness and dedication and all of that really, really comes after children in a way that
Yeah.
you don't experience.
There's a nurture mode that kind of gets unlocked.
Yeah.
Well, there's
when
pros and
kids-
cons to it. Like women, they say mom guilt, right? When they're at work, they feel guilty about not being with the kids. When they're with the kids, they feel guilty about not being at work, right? Whereas a man can compartmentalize.
Yeah.
I'm at work now.
Yeah.
And now I'm at home.
Yeah.
And now I'm at camping.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the couch. Now I'm over wings.
I think it's tough out there though. I really do. It was hard enough for me. It still continues to be. There's certainly people that very much have views in terms of all sorts of things that don't feel good when they share them, and it makes you feel small or belittled, especially women in the workplace and all that. Like a lot of those are very real, valid feelings.
Yeah.
But I think probably like my best advice to anybody really is you can't push off what you actually want. And so many people do.
Yeah.
And that's really sad to me. And it's really sad to me the way that people treat each other as a result of that too. This is kind of like a bit of a sidetrack, but have you ever realized people in your life that who are like really cruel, and you think about them and the fact that at one point or another they probably had some sort of like a dream, and they had goals and they had hopes and things that they desperately wanted and really wanted, and one by one things happened that pushed them away from that or made them feel like they weren't worthy of it, they weren't going to get it, whatever, they didn't get that raise. And it's all of those little movements that end up turning somebody into a cruel and bitter person. And we can all get to be that person. And the reason why they feel that way is because they allowed themselves to be pushed time and time and time again. And those little times that you're pushed by not doing what is inherently in you, not doing what you really want, not speaking up when you feel like you should, all of those little pushes over time where you let yourself be pushed can have such horrible consequences for you later on in life, and not just you, for every single person around you.
Yeah.
And that's important when you deal with someone who is, like you say, not a very nice person, even if you don't know them. It's like they could be having a hard day.
Yeah, it's like there's something is here
going on. And,
Yeah.
and that's not even to suggest some people have mental instabilities too. Right?
There's interactions that you'll have with people out in public, and you're like, sometimes you just gotta like brush it off as being that's who they are and just leave them be.
I want to ask you if about the M word. Have you discussed it?
The M word.
The big M word.
I know what word he's talking about. I'm just pretending not to.
I don't know. What's the M word?
Well, you want 7 kids.
Oh, marriage. I'm waiting.
He's not watching anyway.
Waiting.
Remember?
I sent him a link recently to the ring that I want. It's only $6,400 and they have payment plans.
Yeah.
Canadian, right?
Yes.
Okay. So should this happen in the next couple of years, are we getting invites?
No, probably not.
That was a quick answer.
I don't want to have like anybody at my wedding though. That's the thing. Steve and I have talked about that quite a lot.
Do you mind if we just show up?
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Can you guys MC?
Yeah.
Can we do the podcast from there?
That'd be
I've
iconic.
emceed a few weddings.
That'd be iconic.
And it's been very
I
good.
want to have like the most chill wedding ever though. Like I'm the youngest of 6, and so I have been to a lot of weddings. I've been a part of a lot of weddings, and
Have you imagined yours?
I used to.
Okay.
I don't anymore though.
No?
I've lived out my dream wedding vicariously through my siblings at this point.
Okay.
I do not care at all anymore. Like I say actually Steve and I, we were talking about this in the summer, and I said like, well, let's just get married in the backyard. We'll invite like 10 people, whatever. Who
You
cares?
could have a COVID wedding.
Yeah. Nostalgic.
Why don't we just do it by Zoom?
You could send us a link.
You're on one computer, Steven's on the other.
But I was like, well, let's just like not do anything. Like my dad can like, let's get some Costco hot dogs. And Steve's like, Jasmine, we can't do Costco hot dogs. And I'm
They're
like,
called glizzies, by the way.
oh, okay. I'm like, well, why not? And he said, he's like, because that's really cheap. And I'm like, but who cares? Like, it doesn't have to be anything. Like, I mean, for me too. And Steven's not religious, working on him, but he's not fully there yet. And we're going to see Jordan Peterson, We Who Wrestle with God soon, though. And I'm like, that's going to be the one. He's going to break finally.
Does he watch Jordan Peterson at all?
No, he
Okay.
hates listening to him.
So
Really?
that'll be a perfect evening
Too
out.
many big words, and Steven is like, he's so monotone. I can't. But I'm like,
It's at the
you're
arena this
you're
time.
going. I know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's not religious at all, and so I think for him, he's kind of like, I don't know, whatever. Who cares about marriage? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It is very meaningful to me to get married. Like that really means something. I don't need the big wedding. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I don't need that at all. But to just be married, I don't even need the government paperwork. Like, honestly, I'm like, I just need to be married. I need to say those vows. That means something to me. And so he's very open to that for sure. I guess I just need to make more muffins. I don't know. Like,
You know, we did talk to Steven and we have a surprise for you.
oh,
He's coming in.
yeah.
Him and Kirk Keelbeck.
This is the ideal spot, right? Next interview, Steven will come in. Will be the proposal. Just like Jasmine's
Could you imagine? Wow, that would be a disappointment.
for who? Not for us.
Oh,
I think it would be fantastic.
He could contact Jordan Peterson and do it during the show. We have a break.
I would
we have
never.
a special moment.
Oh, no way.
Live on the Jumbotron. Have you ever thought of how he would propose to you?
Knowing Steven, he would probably just like give it to me and say, I love you. And I'd be like, this isn't anything how I imagined it, but thanks.
So he needs to know not to do that.
It's one of those things that's tricky because him and I are such polar opposites. Like you would never ever think that we are together.
Which is often the case.
Yeah, true. I just find him though, I'm so emotional, I'm so chatty, and I am so surprised that he has not left me yet because of all of those things, because he's just the most stable, chill dude ever. And then there's me, and I'm like, why are you here? Like, why do you still like me? I don't even like me most of the time. He gets home from work and I'm just like, and he's like, yeah, that's great. That's good. Yeah.
So if you need suggestions, have you told me the story of how you proposed?
I don't know. Do you want to know?
Well,
do you want to know?
Yes.
I asked her that
It's
was the
beautiful.
marriage question, and I put her on the spot, and I wasn't humming and hawing about doing it. So let's share our
Please.
Okay. Mine. Do you want me to go first, or
Yes.
you want to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Go first. Okay. Mine starts in a little town called Victoria, BC.
Oh, beautiful.
We were there for a family event for a graduation,
Okay.
and I couldn't do it on that day, obviously, so I was waiting for the next day.
Respectful.
Lorraine knows the entire story, so I'll tell it without any kind of things cut out. I asked her dad if
like
I
that.
could ask, and he said, "First, we have to talk."
Oh no,
And
that
I'm
is
like-
stressful.
I'm like, okay. So I've already got the ring. I've already got the plan. And he's like, we'll talk. So morning 2 in Victoria, my future father-in-law and mother-in-law are out on the deck. And I think her sister comes and goes, hey, mom and dad want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I go out there.
Sweating
And
buckets.
now I am in the conversation, and there's a lot of tough questions, and all these tough questions are being answered, I hope. And they said, okay.
Did they ask you what your intentions were?
No,
I hate that question.
they didn't ask that.
Okay.
But they
They
did
just
ask
said
other
marry?
tough,
Yeah, right.
They did.
It's like,
Intentions do I have?
I know.
they did ask really tough questions in terms of like just life and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And that's good because I did have a past and stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that day we had plans to go ziplining. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it while we go ziplining.
That is crazy.
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And then at the other end, I'm going to be on one knee when she comes and she's going to
Oh.
see me with the ring,
Okay.
right? Coming towards me. So my mom has the ring and she gives it to me and it's in my little backpack. And we get to the zipline place and they're like, hey, no backpacks. And I'm like, and I've got like pockets, but you're wearing the zipline thing and you know what you look like in a zipline. It's not impressive.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to work. The afternoon, we were going whale watching. So I'm like,
Okay.
maybe we'll do it on whale watching. So whale watching is literally the most painful event you can ever be on. I don't know if you've gone whale watching on these blow up boats in Vancouver and going in the ocean. It's like backbreaking. It's not fun. And you're wet and you're soaked. And I'm like, I got the ring inside this giant jacket. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not happening. So after whale watching, we were going back to Victoria to the harbor, and I go, hey, we should go on a horse-drawn carriage, right? And Lorraine proceeds to go, hey, to her sister and brother, you guys want to go on a horse-drawn carriage? And they're like, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm like, this is the worst day of my life because I can't get one correct situation. Anyways, we get there. And then my future brother-in-law goes, hey, no, don't worry. We're not going to go with you guys. And I didn't even talk to him.
Mhm.
I'm just the kind of person that just like will let everything happen. So let Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood.
We get into the carriage and they don't come with us. They go and start walking around the thing. And we start doing the carriage ride and we're going through the park. I can't remember the name of the park in Victoria. And then once we get to the... Like, I'm just nervous because now I'm like, this is the time, right?
Yeah.
So everything else kind of like backfired and now's the time. So we're going through the thing and I'm already halfway through the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, now when do I do it? Like, how do I do it? And all of a sudden, there's an orchestra in the park and it just starts playing classical music. And I'm like, well, now's the time. So I got up, I opened the bag, got the ring. Lorraine said, you're not supposed to stand up in here. And I'm like, it's okay, don't worry. And I did the whole proposal. And the girl, I forgot to say this, but the girl that's the driver was giving a tour the entire time, not shutting up. And she looks back and she sees me proposing and she's like, oh, I'll stop now. And she stops.
Oh.
And the orchestra played and I proposed. She said yes, thankfully, because that would have sucked for the rest of the trip. And and the rest of my life. And that's where we got engaged. So
That's
I got like tons of memories. Now we went back to Victoria once. We walked through the park that we got engaged in and
I dropped you off at
the ferry to go there. Yeah. So that is my engagement story. It's long.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. So
see, I feel like when I was younger, I always dreamt of something really romantic like that. But then, like nowadays, I don't know. Yeah, it just like it doesn't. I'm like, that's beautiful and I love it. But also knowing Steve, he'll like put it around Lou's neck and she'll accidentally eat it. You know, like that's my reality.
And then you have to take her for a walk
Be like,
until.
okay, honey.
So speaking of the general stereotype roles between women and men, that we talked already about guys going on trips and girls going on trips. So that is hard, fast rule for you. A man must be the one to ask.
The only way that I think it's acceptable for a woman to ask is if she's on a reality TV show and wants to go viral. That is the only, like, Love is Blind, why they have not had a woman pop the question yet, missed opportunity for views right there, let me tell ya. But no, that's definitely one of the traditions that I hold very near and dear. I also think, too, to me, like, that's just not a woman's place, really, to do that. And I think that it can be kind of emasculating. Is that the word, emasculating?
Yep. Yeah.
I think that could be kind of emasculating to do that to a man because of the tradition.
Right.
Just because something's a tradition doesn't mean that that's how it has to be always. I know girls, I'm friends with them who have proposed to their partners and everything was great. It was a-okay. But for me, no, I'm also too in relationship form. I am pretty traditional. I carry myself very traditionally. I don't have guy friends, not because I'm not allowed, but because I see no reason to.
Yeah.
Like that's not for me. Why would I disrespect my partner by having a guy friend that I'm gonna talk about what to?
Yeah.
Like,
other than your girlfriend's guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right?
Like I have I have like girlfriends that female lady friends who their husbands or something, like when I'm over we
Lady
chit
friends
chat.
sounds wrong too.
Yeah, it does. You know, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I have like even one of my best friends, her husband and I've known him for like 7 or 8 years now. You know, we have each other's phone numbers and sometimes we text each other music or something back and forth. But you know what, that's about it. Like it'll be like, "Oh, hey, I know you like this band. Did you hear they came out with a new song?" And that's it. Because what else do I really need to talk to you about? And then if we're in person and we're all together, of course it's fine. But I think more than anything, it's like the older I get, I mean, I realize that 9.5 times out of 10, guys don't want to be friends with girls. That's pretty rare. And I, you know, when I was younger, I think I was just naive and I would always be like, well, that's not true. He does just want to be my friend. And then, you know, you get to be a little bit older and somebody has a drink or two and you realize, oh no,
They're
you
real
didn't.
feelings.
Yeah, you didn't want to be my friend at all. Yuck. So it's just like at this stage in the game, and why would I do that?
Some would say,
Up here.
why shouldn't a woman propose? What is this gender crap?
There's
that
no
man has to be
reason.
the man, quote unquote.
Yeah.
We talked about. I'm not saying I believe that, but
Yeah.
like we talked about toxic masculinity.
I don't
bunch of
even- I
episodes
think
ago. Like,
that's
what does that even mean now?
Being a man and doing
Right.
something that a woman doesn't like, you're toxic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's generally how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
Right? You're labeled toxic as
Yeah.
soon as you say something.
And that's the thing too. It's like, is there anything wrong with a woman taking that role? Absolutely not. I don't like it. And there's nothing wrong with me not liking it.
Yeah.
I don't think any less of either of you because of it. I just don't like it. I wouldn't want that to happen. That's awesome if you guys are A-okay with that and it's totally fine. And you do you, boo-boo. That is A-okay. But
Yeah.
for me, it's not my thing.
Which goes back to you have to be strong enough to have your own convictions outside of what society says.
You know what's
right?
crazy though is even saying that, I feel like is something that people would be terrified to say. Because what do you mean? You're an anti-fem. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
No, I'm just telling you, I don't like that. Something in me, not
It's
for
a feeling
me.
that you have.
Yeah.
Right? And
I like, no, thank you. In the same way that you had the feeling to do that, I have the feeling to say, not for me.
Well, we learned this during the pandemic. You weren't allowed to say or have certain opinions.
or have feelings.
No.
Because if you had feelings, they were.
And people just start shutting up because they just got attacked. The government didn't need to attack people because other people did it for them.
Yeah, what again though.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there.
There was a lot of attacking, but you know, the thick-skinned people and the people that like were convicted in their faith and they're convicted in their beliefs.
And then your friends went
Didn't
to
affect
Ottawa
them.
with their semi trucks. So
Back then, would you have friends that went to Ottawa back then?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a couple friends in media that came very close to losing their careers during
Because
that.
of that, yeah.
I have one of them who did, actually, a journalist that I know. She was working out in British Columbia, I think, at the time. She made the trek out there, and she was reporting on it. That's the crazy part. She was reporting on it.
The truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had friends too that were.
And she lost her job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy. It's actually interesting. Are you guys familiar with the YouTuber? I think his username is Mr. Sunshine Baby. Have you ever heard of him?
But not familiar.
He is very well known in Canada for sure. Like he has a really big subscriber base, and I'm very friendly with everybody on YouTube, and I always
You have guy friends on YouTube.
Yeah, actually, I do. That's weird now
You
that I
have
think
cyber
about
friends.
that. It's
Cyber guy
different.
friends.
Yeah, we wouldn't be friends in real life.
Cyber guy friends.
I have cyber guy friends. But I was chit-chatting with him a little while ago, and I had kind of asked, like, what was your start? And he said to me, and hopefully I'm getting the details right, but he had said to me something to the effect of like, yeah, it's crazy. I'd been on YouTube for a long time, YouTubing, vlogging, whatever. And it wasn't until the convoy that something really clicked in me, because I had heard about it on the news and I wanted to search about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I had already been on YouTube and I know how it works, when I searched like the Freedom Convoy, the only thing that came up was news outlets and their
CBC,
coverage of it, which I thought was really weird because I'm on YouTube. And so I know that people are live streaming and they're posting videos of it and there's tons of people there. So of course, like, why is the only footage being shown
Mm-hmm.
of news channels. And then he said how he had like gone into some of his settings, removed a few filters, and then saw just this overwhelming abundance of people who were posting about it, but it was not showing up on the main pages. And that's when he kind of was like, I don't like this, and kind of started to talk a little bit more, which was really successful
Which
for him.
ironically makes YouTube pay him more money now.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
There you go.
No, I can't believe you're 28. You can have 7 kids.
I can't believe you thought that I was older than 28.
No,
How rude.
You make me think that you're older because you always talk about how old you are.
I am old.
No, you're not.
I feel like it.
You're not old.
The other day, I laid down on my back, and I swear to God, my hip popped.
You're not looking after yourself, but you're not old.
You're gaslighting me right now.
Gaslighting is a word I just recently
You sound like
learned.
Christia Freeland. The economy's really great. You just have bad vibes.
Yeah.
Never ever compare.
Have
me
you
to
heard the
Christina
word
Freeland
gleaned?
I don't think so.
Me neither. But for the last
What?
I thought you were going to end it there.
I've heard of that word.
well,
Gleaned? I don't
gleaned.
know.
In a sentence, use it in
Gleaned.
a sentence.
Yes, use it in a sentence.
What you've learned from something.
So you've gleaned something from something.
What
so-
you've learned from something.
Why does glean?
I
Okay.
honestly, I think this is a new word that people are starting to use because I probably heard it like 25 times in the last 2 weeks. And now that you've heard the word from me, you're
I'm
going
gonna
to hear
hear
it. And you're going to be like, I've never noticed that word before.
Yeah.
But gleaned, like I've heard it so many times lately, and I'm like, how come I've never heard of that
Mm-hmm.
word before? So that's why I want to know if you've heard it before.
It means what you've learned
What
from.
you've learned from something.
What you've learned or
gleaned from-
gained or believed.
gained information or knowledge or wisdom.
What
or
I've
something.
gleaned from somebody.
Yes. You've
That
taken
sounds
it.
like I don't like that
It's a
word.
weird word. But what was the question?
Yeah, what was the question?
What are your top 3 places
Oh, those
in
places.
Manitoba that you or Steven will go to as a couple?
Date places. They can be
date
restaurants. They can
places.
be outings. They can be whatever in Manitoba.
That you love going to.
Like specifically for dates?
Yeah.
The cabin?
with a nice steak.
We like to go to the cabin and eat some leatherback steak.
The cabin. So like Airbnb style cabins?
No, like family cabin.
A cabin or your cabin?
Like my cabin.
You have a family cabin?
Yeah.
There you go.
Again, there was no invite all summer, Tim.
You can't go there. My grandparents live there and I
And-
deeply respect them.
And
But
she
we
can't- and she
love your
can't have- and
grandparents.
she
They
can't
don't
have guy
like
friends.
you.
They don't like us?
They don't like anybody.
Did they watch the video?
Probably not.
Well, we should show them. Anyway,
A
so
Vibe
the
Stay and
cabin.
Play is a cabin as well that I've been to a lot. I've posted about them a lot. They have a cabin that's about 10 minutes from mine, and that place is the bee's knees. They have like a swim spa, hot tub, sauna, multiple hot tubs actually, saltwater pool so I can actually dunk my hair in as a blonde without it turning blue, lakefront there. So in the summertime and stuff, we love that.
Okay.
It's weird because like in the summer, I feel like I'd have a million answers.
What about
but in
restaurants?
winter, it's
Top.
tough.
Well, now we're specifying what she can pick.
Well, maybe Steven needs
Top-
to learn where to take her.
Oh, this is why you're asking. Got it.
We got one, two
Helping
more.
you here.
2 more. Anywhere in Manitoba. It can be
Of
something.
restaurants?
It could be
anything.
restaurants,
Anything.
It's confusing,
activities.
but
What are your top 3 things that you like to do in Manitoba?
You have the day off. You can do anything you want. One's the cabin. What are the other 2?
Going kayaking anywhere, even the Red River, I'd be fine with.
Okay.
It is gross, but
Like
you
just
know.
do the Redwood Bridge, just push off and go.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay.
Go down to one of the docks with a little yak and you're good to go.
We do not condone that. So please, if you do, this is not an endorsement from the Greg and Tim Show.
But
Okay.
like, subscribe, and share.
Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, and share. Okay. And then number 3.
That or again, I would probably say like another like boating. Like I love boating activities, water activities.
And let's show the video of her and Allie on their boating activities.
It's a great video. I would never want to be proposed to at a restaurant ever.
What about on a boat?
Only if the song I'm on a boat is playing will I say yes.
Oh, otherwise you would say no and you'd say try again.
Otherwise, I would say, who's on Spotify? Let me add a song, take 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be down for that. I honestly feel like I'm like the cabin would probably make the most sense though. because like my family cabin is my happy place without a doubt.
Okay.
Like I go there all the time in the summertime, just by myself, even just for dinner with my grandparents or something. It's just that is my
Because they like
place.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They wouldn't like us?
I'm like
Really?
the only grandchild that regularly visits.
So that's why they like
yeah,
you.
they love me.
Yeah.
That place is cool though. They had there's a bunch of lots that have started to get like changed, and there's this one in particular. It's right down the main path. And when I was probably about 6 years old, I carved my name into a tree, and they cut down like every single tree except for that one. So I just love seeing that. It's hilarious. I'm like, oh, that's memories. That's so cute. I love
When
this.
you were a child.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Hmm.
And I can tell how short I am too because of where it's written on the tree compared to where I am now. I'm like, that's so cool.
And then the last question is, dead or alive, who would you most want to speak to get the most out of a conversation, whether it's advice or conversation, that type of thing? Who would you most want to speak to?
Well, I feel like we all know that answer.
You can go with a different one if you want to.
Honestly, I would probably, dead or alive, I would think that I would probably say like my grandma or something. Because I'm like, if you are, because she's been dead for a long time now. But so I'm like, she has a lot of intel and the afterlife, you know?
Mhm.
And I would want to pick her brain about that and be like, hey, grandma, am I on the naughty list or what? Because I feel like I've been trying really hard lately. Let me know what's up. Like,
You're
What do
asking for her to put a good word in with the
yeah,
big
with
man
the big
upstairs?
man. Yeah. Like, the dogs are there, right? Like, that's a thing.
Well, there's a movie called All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah. I need to make sure
So-
that that's true. So, you know,
Yeah.
I would probably say my grandma more than I know that's like lame because it's sentimental, but
No, it's funny. A lot of people have actually picked loved ones
Mhm.
that have passed away.
Most people have picked one.
So it's not unusual to pick that.
which
so.
to really wrap up the beginning part of this conversation, funny how not a single one of those people has picked a boss. So
There you go.
pay attention to the things that really matter and focus on them more than the things that don't.
All the family that you want to see all the time, right?
Hmm.
I think that's a good place to end.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, well, Jasmin, thank you again for joining us. Like, this obviously went in 5 different directions, maybe
Yeah,
even more.
it's a little
and
chaotic.
we appreciate it. But we appreciate your honest answers on a lot of these things, especially like politics and even just, feminism
Mhm.
in general,
Mhm.
right? Because you don't honestly get a lot of that with.
I'm going to get canceled for some of that, I'm sure. Bring it on, baby.
Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and
Share
and
comment,
that's right.
please. And something other than the Mandela effect, please. Please.
And if you want to comment on the Mandela effect, make sure that you
okay.
email Tim at timsanderson at.
Sandman. I'm not giving my email out.
If you want his email, just look at previous episodes. It's
Yeah,
in the
sure, it was.
description below. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful week. Thanks again, Jasmin.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.